Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30 and time to begin our special board meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, Ms. Rhonda.
Dr. Redis,
Here.
Mrs. McLean,
Here.
Mrs. Wonka,
Here.
Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Mrs. Temple,
Here.
Mrs. Williams,
Here.
Ms. Person West.
Here.
Before we begin the first hearing, I want to acknowledge that we have two student expulsion hearings tonight and only one employee hearing scheduled for tonight. In the interest of time and fairness to everyone presenting, I encourage us, myself included, to focus on clarifying questions and limit our comments so we can move through the agenda efficiently and respectfully. Our first expulsion hearing, Dr. Plusky.
Yes, ma'am. Our student expulsion hearing number one. Welcome Ms. Randall and Ms. Brunson on behalf of the administration. So, Ms. Randall, I'll turn it over to you so we could have the student and the parent or caregiver first.
Yes, you guys can come on up.
Sir, so the first question is, would you like this hearing to be open to the public, meaning it would be live, or closed, meaning not open to the public? Closed, yes, sir. So this will be a closed hearing.
We are back in session. Is there a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
we so move that we recommend the expulsion for attendance of the North Little Rock School District for the remainder 2025-2026 school year for ID number 10000018887.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we accept the recommendation for expulsion from attendance in the North Little Rock School District for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year for student ID number 10000018887. Being that it is a student and it was closed hearing, there can be no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There we go. Can you take us off for just a quick second?
Education number 1.
You want these now or?
Yes, I'll come in. I'll just,
Yeah.
Excuse me, didn't mean to reach over.
Sorry.
You want to just check on that?
Huh?
There may not.
This is at the alternative school too.
Okay, no.
So we'll just
Anybody
proceed
else?
with, we'll just
Proceed.
proceed with, student expulsion hearing number 2,
okay,
okay? At which we will go in.
to close,
Yeah.
okay.
So, Madam President, members of our board, will be student expulsion hearing number 2. And I'll recommend that we go into a closed for this hearing.
if we use the ID number, right?
Yeah, it's on there. Oh,
We are
It's
back
on
in session. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we go ahead and proceed with the expulsion for student number 10000003328.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we accept the recommendation for expulsion from attendance in the North Little Rock School District for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year for student ID number 10000003328. There can be no discussion, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. We are down to our last item, which is an employee hearing.
Well, one of them is gonna come in next Thursday, but at the end, so at the end of the month, we'll have three.
Oh, Lord.
Because she asked for,
Not tonight, not tonight.
not tonight,
One that was supposed to be here tonight is going to the next, to the next one, three.
which means we'll have three.
Oh, shit, yeah,
A lady for a change.
you weren't here last time.
Welcome,
she was
Judge.
there. I don't think
So
you were here
good
last
seeing
time.
you.
How are you all today?
All right.
Ms. Coleman, how are you?
Security guard.
At the end of the month. Thank you. At the end of the month.
Judge, what's your name?
Sharon Street.
Okay. So nice meeting your face is so familiar.
Well, I've been around a long time, so
I know.
we
we've
might
both
have
been
met
around.
before. Oh. I need this one more. It's in your court. You want me to start? Here you go.
You ready?
Okay, we're here for a personnel hearing tonight. Mr. Black, I'm Sharon Street. I'm the hearing officer tonight. Do you have a representative with you?
My name is Kelly Gibbons with the Arkansas Education Association.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Beckett here for the school district?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the way this is going to work, Mr. Beckett will call his witnesses first and put on his justification for the recommended termination. And then you all will be able to cross-examine any witnesses he calls. The board will be able to question witnesses. Then once Mr. Beckett has finished his side of the case, then you may present Mr. Black's side of the case, and both Mr. Beckett and the board will be able to ask questions of any of your witnesses. Then you may each make a closing statement if you wish, and then the board will retire to executive session to evaluate the evidence, and they'll come back out into regular session to vote. Mr. Beckett, are you ready?
I'm ready to proceed. Thank you. Have you distributed the packets, Ms. Street?
Yes.
Okay, so exhibit number 1 is the termination notice. Mr. Black is a teacher and a coach and a bus driver. And as you can see from reason number 1, pursuant to our random drug testing protocol for both classified and people like Mr. Black, a certified staff that drive buses, Mr. Black was randomly selected to undergo a drug screen. Ms. Coleman will speak to that. On December the 19th, 2025, Alex Sims from the testing facility is here to speak to what happened on December the 19th, 2025, when Mr. Black showed up to be tested. So, Mr. Sims, would you identify yourself? Tell us who you're employed by.
Hi, my name is Alex Sims. I'm employed by Expert Diagnostics. We're a drug testing facility here in town, and we do the drug testing for this particular organization.
Okay, and so if you turn to the packet, over to Exhibit 3, the bottom right-hand corner has page numbers. All right, in the middle of the page, it looks like that is your name right there, correct? Alex Sims?
Yes, sir.
And the date is 12/19/2025,
Yes, sir.
and time is 12:26 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, so it looks like on this form, this is a form you filled out, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so towards the top, in step 1, section E, this is a random test, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and down there, and then in step 2, you put remarks. Could you read what you wrote in remarks?
Yes, sir. It says, donor did not have enough urine and left without providing a sufficient sample. And I wrote my initials at the end.
Okay, and then turn to page 4, the next page. Is this a letter that you sent to the school district?
This was an affidavit that I sent.
Okay, and the board can read that, but apparently Mr. Black showed up for testing at 10:30 and then left almost 2 hours later without providing a sample. Is that correct?
Well, not a sufficient amount that we need. We need 45 milliliters, so it would be above the sticker on our cups that we have.
Okay.
So we didn't have enough.
Okay, and what is this water procedure you refer to?
Well, the water procedure per Part 40 of the DOT regulation tells us that we have to regulate his water. And so we have to be able to give a certain amount within about 3 hours, and then at the end of that, that's a whole other procedure. So he would get a phone call at the end, typically would get a phone call at the end, and it would go from there with the MRO or the medical review officer, and that's a whole procedure I'm not quite familiar with.
Okay, so if you could, this sentence here in this affidavit, he, I guess you mean Mr. Black, was advised of the rules.
Yes, sir.
Explain what this means, these rules.
Okay. Well, what I was telling him was that initially, from when we start the procedure, what I told him is that, number one, we have to be able to regulate his water, be able to give him a cup every 30 minutes. And from that, we have to be able to also make sure that he cannot leave the facility, otherwise it would be considered a refusal, technically.
Okay.
And thirdly, he can let us know whenever he's ready to go. But the thing about that is that there's a chance that he could end up diluting his sample. So typically, it won't work within that period of time. And so like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, stuff like that. Like when you do it like within a quick period of time, that causes issues.
Okay, and where did this testing or attempted testing occur?
It's at the bus depot off, I think it's Washington Avenue, I believe.
Okay, and do you know who Ms. Coleman is?
Yes, ma'am.
The director?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, was
Oh,
Ms.
yes, sir.
I was like,
My apologies. It's been a long day. Sorry.
Yeah, was Ms. Coleman present at the time you were doing this testing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. No further questions. Mr. Black's representative or the board may have questions for you.
Do you have any questions?
So my question is, did he fail the test? If you didn't, did he fail the test?
Well, technically, if you walk out, without an adequate excuse, like for example, like we have like a medical reason or something like for example, because we have some people that come into our facilities that have like physical problems, like literally Because there was one guy, he got shot in, like above his bladder, and so he get enough urine. And so we had a situation where wasn't DOT per se, but it was more non-DOT. We had to use an oral fluid test for that test. And so that was a whole other procedure that we had to undergo, so.
And did Mr. Black refuse to take the test?
No, he didn't, not from the initial standpoint. But he did tell me that he peed before he came. And so and he also told me that it took him a while to get to the bus depot.
Okay, so when we say a random test, did he know about the test before? I mean, was the test just put upon him that day, in that hour? How soon did he have noticed that he would be? Oh, sorry.
Well, for me, I don't know. I was just told to arrive at the facility and then
Okay.
administer the test.
Okay,
I'm not familiar with that.
thank you.
Do you have any other questions of him?
No, thank you.
Board members, do any of you all have a question?
Any questions?
So for clarification, he didn't deny the test. He took the test. It was not enough of a sample, and there was not enough there for you to test anything because of the deficiency of the amount.
Yes, ma'am. We had per DOT regulation, we have to have 45 milliliters of urine, so we have to have a full container and a half of another one. Otherwise, the lab won't be able to take it. And another thing, we could also, as a company, get in trouble for that, get cited. I can get a decision made against me because I didn't make sure that the amount was the right amount.
When you say DOT, what is DOT?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Department of Transportation? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So the Department of Transportation is the one who set the standard.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
what I'm hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome.
May I ask one more question?
On the record. Yes.
Okay. You stated that there was not enough urine for the sample, right? Can you explain why you gave it a temperature then?
Well, we have for us to be able to take it, we have to take it within at least 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's above that, it typically becomes cold. And so if he had enough sample, I could have been able to take it, like have part 1 of 1, and then for the second sample, we would have part 2 of 2. And so he didn't have that, and so I had to throw it away. And it was also within range, so that was another reason why I would have to throw it out. And that also prevents the situation. So. I guess you could say.
Okay. Do you need him to explain better?
Yes.
This,
Okay.
Yes.
I started to say this
Okay.
different sample business. Maybe
Sure.
you should go through what the test, if you completed the whole test, what that would have looked like.
Okay, so if he were to first up arrive there, or go through the whole thing, or just bits
Well,
and pieces.
What I didn't understand was,
Okay.
you said it was like there were 2 separate cups or something?
Well, if we were to do the test, if he had enough sample, then that means that I could do part 1 of 2 and then part 2 of 2. So we would go for that type of procedure. And so with that being said, we would have to also make sure that he has enough the second time. And so that,
Oh, so you do it twice?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I was missing.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. So he would have to give you a sample twice, go to the bathroom twice?
Yes, if he has enough sample the first time, then yes, he would. But if it's not within range, we have to make sure that it's within range.
Within
between
range, you mean by time?
Temperature, so we have to
Temperature.
have between 90 to 100 degrees.
Okay.
And if he doesn't get that range, and if he has enough sample, we'll have to collect that, then do part 1 of 2, then after that, we would have to do part 2 of 2. And then that's a whole other thing we have to do.
So you were able to do part 1 because you're signifying on your paper that it was in between range. Did Mr. Black know that you would have to have him go again?
Well, the thing about it is that we would have to have a full amount of sample, because he didn't have the 45 milliliters
Okay.
that we needed, and so that's why I had to throw it out.
Okay.
Yep, and that's the thing, he only had about 30. And so, I think he had a little bit of the second container as well.
I wish you could show us, with a cup, you know, how much that is, or, but I guess that wouldn't matter, but I'm just saying if, my question is really, if this is a random test, how much time would he had, you know, notice of that random test to know not to go to the restroom before he gets there to do it? Or was it, you know, he knew a day ahead that, hey, you had to be here? But I know that's not a question, that's probably not
I
a
think
question.
the next witness will know more about that.
Okay, thank you.
For, I have,
Go ahead.
did anybody else have a question? For clarity, you mentioned something about a different type of test for people that can't produce enough. When do you make that determination? How do you make that determination?
Well, after the first sample, it'd be the same, it'd be a different kind of test it'd be kind of the same thing, but it'd be a different test, meaning it'd be different samples, and so that's what I mean by it.
When do you let the person know that, okay, I come in, I take my test, I don't produce enough, what's the next step?
Once we have enough sample, that's what I would tell the person about it.
I'm still not following.
Like part 2 of 2. If we have to go to that second part, then after the first part, then I would tell the person about that.
So,
So were you waiting for him to produce more sample, is that,
Yes, ma'am.
and up to the 45 just to get the first sample?
Yes, ma'am.
and so what you're saying is, I'm just trying to get this timeline now.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, he came in, didn't have enough for the first sample.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave him water,
Yes, ma'am.
drank the water. Did he leave before he tried again?
No, ma'am.
So he tried again.
Yes.
And so at that point, if it wasn't enough as well, then is that when he was supposed to do the next option?
No, ma'am. It would, if he got enough, then we could, and if it was out of range, then that's how we would be able to do it. Like, for example, if, like she was saying before, I wish I could have the containers to explain better to you all, but we have to have at least, because at least 30 milliliters for one container, and then 50 milliliters for the second container. So they have to
I
combine
get that
with-
part. I'm
with
just
that
trying to
together.
figure out, I come in,
Mhm.
the first time around, don't cut it. You give me some water, drink some water, drink some water, drink some water. I go again the second time, still it's not enough.
Yes. Well,
What happens next?
if it's out of range, then
If it's out of range
Yes,
the second time,
Fir-
what happens?
first time. If it's out of range and if it's enough sample, we can take it. Like have that part 1 of 2, and then we'll have to go to the part 2 of 2, and then go from there.
So what I'm not understanding
Sure.
is if it's out of range, but you clarified that it was because you're saying your range is the temperature, which is you signified that it was in range. So then you would go to the next part.
But
So,
If it was not, well, if he had enough sample that, and if it was within range, we can actually take that as the sample. But if it's not within range, we can't take that per se. We'll have to be able to collect it as well as the secondary sample. And that's the issue with that, so. It's just
So,
more repeat is
Are you
to-
saying the second sample, or the second time he tries to pee in the cup, if that is not within range, both those things have to be in range, and they both have to add up to 45 milliliters?
Preferably, yes.
And then if it doesn't, it's null and void, that sample, right?
Well, typically, what you'll find is that it'll have to be tested at the lab, and then they'll go through
Gotcha.
that procedure, and,
Is this with the iCup?
no, it's with a Quest Cup.
Got you.
So it would, because iCup would be more instant,
Mhm.
and from what I've been told, that's not DOT regulated, and so we can't do
Oh,
that.
got you, okay.
And so we have to go through an MRO procedure, and that, we have to send it off
Mhm.
to, we don't have an MRO on site anymore, so we have to send it off to, I think Kansas, and I think the MRO is in Indiana, I can't remember, let me see what the,
MRO is the medical review officer.
yes, sir.
Mhm.
Let me see where it's, it doesn't have,
But you still have to record the temperature when you get it. You record the temperature then, so even if he's at 30 and he's between that 98 and, 100?
not hit, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so even if he's within that, then you record what he has, you record that temperature, so that portion is not necessarily, it's in range as far as the temperature, is not in range as far as the sample amount.
Yes, ma'am.
So then you get number 2, and then you record that as in the right temperature. But if it's still not enough, you can add that number with the other number to make the 45. Is that right?
No, we can't combine.
You can't combine, so, because the other one will be out of temperature then, right?
Yes, ma'am, that's a totally different test.
Okay, got you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then if you have the second sample and it's still not 45, but it's in temperature, then what?
And still not within temperature?
No, it's within temperature, but it's not in range
Not in
either
range.
times. But
So
you record the
must have
temperature.
Enough of a sample?
Right, you don't have enough of a sample, but you recorded the temperature in range both times.
In that case, then we would have to send them both off, and we would have to mark on the paperwork says that it is not within range, so we would have to enter a remark
Okay,
as to what happened.
okay.
So we go through that whole,
And then if you sit there and if you overwater while you're there, then it can just dilute the sample, period. It'll be in range, but then it'll be considered a diluted sample, correct?
there is a chance of that, yes, ma'am.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, because there's been situations where it gets canceled or.
Yeah, and then it becomes a false positive. Right,
Well, I'm not familiar with results per se, like, I don't look at all.
right.
the
I got you,
percentages.
but when you say cancel out, that kind of, it won't be a valid sample.
Uh,
Right,
Yes.
okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just not really clear on this.
I guess 'cause I
Process.
deal with.
So
It's
can I,
not the
can I ask
sample
another
part.
question then?
Not the,
Oh, go ahead.
not the sample part.
Yeah.
The, how it happened, timeline, or maybe I'll wait until Ms. Coleman come up and maybe she can explain it. My issue is, okay, I get it. I come in, I need to take it. He came in to take the test. Didn't have enough. Got it. Clear as mud. Gave me some water so that maybe I can go. Went again, still wasn't enough. Clear as mud. The next step, was he told the next step after that, or was he supposed to just keep drinking water until he gets it?
Well, we have up until, I can't remember, did I tell you about the 3 hours?
Yes.
limit? Okay, so we have up until that point on. If he doesn't get enough, he'll have to sign some paperwork here that I would provide to him. And then I would have to send that to the MRO, and they would give him a call, and that's a whole
And
other
then they
procedure.
started the process. Did you explain that to him?
Not at one point, until the end.
You said until the end?
Until the end, because
Okay.
he wanted to walk out.
Question.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a little confused here. You know, we've all been to the doctor, and I think that's what's getting us. And we don't always have an opportunity when they ask us for, you know. And then you say he tried, what is, Mr. Beckett, in clear-cut words, would you tell me why the recommendation, she keep hearing he tried it 2 times and he couldn't go. What is the problem? Did he walk off, or did he refuse to do another, and he got tired of drinking water? I just need a clarity, please, because
That's my
Well,
We-
you know, that's a question you may have to ask Mr. Black, because the record here is clear, and according to Mr. Sims, Mr. Black left of his own volition less than 2 hours into the
Oh,
testing.
so he didn't wait the 3 hours.
And he did not wait 3 hours, and that was after he was told that if he did not provide an adequate sample, it's considered a refusal under the policy,
I get it.
that's,
okay?
that's
Okay.
clear.
Got it.
May I ask another question?
Yes.
Okay, so when you say here in your letter, page 4, that Mr. Black left on his own volition at 12:26, which was an hour and 56 minutes after he started this testing process, what does that mean when you say Mr. Black left of his own volition?
Well, from what he told me at the end of of our time was that he had to get back to class. And from what he told me was that he didn't have anyone to fill in for him. And so that's why he told me they needed him at that point in time.
Okay, but before Mr. Black left, you advised him that if he left without providing an adequate sample, it would be considered a refusal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then Mr. Black at no time provided you with an adequate medical reason why he could not provide an adequate sample, correct?
Yes, sir.
He did not.
Yes, he did not.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Follow up.
That was fun. Go ahead.
December 19th, were we in school?
That, we can get to Mr. Black here in a minute. We're gonna have some testimony on that as well.
Okay, I have one, just clarification. If he had given a full sample, the volume that you needed, would that have been the end of it at that point, or would he still have had to do a second?
If he had it within range and he had the full volume, yes, ma'am, he
Okay.
would be able to do it.
Okay.
And we were going from there, and we wouldn't have this
All right.
hearing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I just heard him say that he would have to do a second. Did I not hear that?
That's why I was clarifying
Yeah.
that. He didn't, if it had been the full volume and temperature that they needed the first
First
one,
time.
there wouldn't have been a second.
Okay, all right, I'm
Yes, sir.
okay now.
Okay, any other questions?
Not for me.
You have any?
No.
Okay. All right, Mr. Beckett,
Thank you.
You
We're
have
gonna
another
call
witness?
Ms. Coleman. I think everybody here knows you, but if you would, just introduce yourself and state your position.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Coleman. I'm the Director of Transportation.
And Ms. Coleman, were you present on December the 19th, 2025, when Mr. Black was called in for a random drug test?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain briefly to the board how our random drug testing procedure works for people like licensed employees like Mr. Black, who are a teacher and also drive a bus?
At a certain point in the school year, we collaborate with Human Resources to produce a list of all of our drivers, and we also give our aides too that are classified as non-DOT, but anybody that's in a safety-sensitive position, we give that list to in the Human Resources. They, in turn, give it to our testing company, which in this case is Expert Diagnostic. They send us a list when it's time for us to do a quarterly random, and we have to do so many per year by DOT regulations. So we don't ever have the list. We get that list or choose the testees. That all comes from Human Resources. I mean, from the testee to Human Resources.
And so are you familiar with how Mr. Black found out on December the 19th that he was going to be, required to submit a random drug sample?
Yes, sir. We never tell anyone the day before, and we tell them that morning. In his case, we would have I made contact with Coach Ballon, and then also he was in communication with our tester, which was also his trainer at one point. Our trainer, which he's communicated quite a bit, which is Rosalind Stewart.
Hold on, who's the trainer?
Her name is Rosalind Stewart.
Okay, trainer of what?
At our facility, the bus trainer.
Oh, the bus trainer?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who notified Mr. Black? When was Mr. Black notified, and how soon before 10:30 when he showed up?
We began making calls around 8 or 8:30 Friday morning, and I to speak to the coaches and teachers that are on that list. Understandably so, when they're in class, we give them an option to come to transportation or go to the test site to be tested, because if they're in class or anything like that, we try not to pull them out immediately. We give them opportunity to be covered.
Okay, now on December the 19th, was that a student contact day?
Yes, sir.
It was.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you present at the facility where Mr. Black showed up to give his urine sample.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us what happened. What did you observe in here?
He came in, around 10:30, and he went on back and spoke with Mr. Alex and, went through the procedure, and then he came out and, I saw him drinking water. I didn't speak to him immediately. And then he sat in our lounge, and so me and him just kind of conversated like, are you ready? Or, you know, he said, I'm just drinking a little bit more water. And then he came and told me that he might need to leave because his students, he had to get back to his class, and he didn't have anyone to cover him. And so I told him to just hold on for a second and try, you know, again. And so I think he did go back again. And him and Mr. Alex had a conversation, which I wasn't privy to. And then he mentioned again that he may have to leave because of the students. And I asked Mr. Alex, you know, I wanted to verify if he left, what would be the report? You know, would it be a negative? Would it be refusal? And Alex told me that it would be, he told me that it would be considered a refusal, which in my experience has been always considered a positive. And the person, the testee, and that's under DOT federal regulations, would have to go through the SEP program to, you know, regain. So I explained that to him because I didn't.
You explained what
Alex told
who?
me to Mr. Black, because I didn't want him to have to go through the rigmarole of having to, you know, with his license and everything. And he said he understood, and he sat down for a little bit longer, and was continued drinking water. And then he had a conversation with Alex.
Were you present for that conversation?
No, I wasn't in that conversation.
Okay, well, did you hear Mr. Sims advise Mr. Black that if he were to leave without providing an adequate sample, it's considered a refusal?
Well, when Mr. Black and I were talking, Mr. Sims was a part of that conversation to agree that that would be the consequences if he left.
Okay, so Mr. Black knew, your testimony is Mr. Black knew before he left that if he left, it would be considered a refusal under the policy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you familiar with 3.07, the licensed personnel drug policy?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so on page 8, there's a section called refusal to submit. You see that?
Yes, sir.
And number 2 says failed to remain at the testing site until the testing process was completed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And so that is correct. Mr. Black failed to remain at the testing site until the testing process was completed, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then Mr. Black failed to provide a urine specimen for any required drug test. That's true,
Yes, sir.
correct? And then do you see number 3, Mr. Black failed to provide a sufficient amount of urine without an adequate medical reason for the failure.
Yes,
That's
sir.
true also, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Black has violated the refusal to submit part of the policy, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you see down there consequences for violations, actions regarding continued employment shall be taken in relation to their inability to perform these functions and could include termination or non-renewal of their contract of employment. You see that down there at the bottom of page 8?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So not providing an adequate sample means that it's a refusal, correct?
Yes, sir.
And a refusal is a violation of the policy which results in those consequences.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have any other conversation with Mr. Black other than what you testified to?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, everybody else may have some other questions for you.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Is it Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Coleman, can I ask, you stated that he was called the morning of
Yes,
12/19.
ma'am.
Do you remember what time Mr. Black received that phone call?
We started making calls between 8 and 8:30. Sorry, I apologize. We started making calls between 8 and 8:30. But I do know, again, for, like I said, Mr. Black, he was in class and, there was the holdup of me, making contact with him to make sure that he was aware that we were testing.
Okay. And then, you stated that Mr. Black kind of tried to go to the bathroom. He, kept drinking the water and everything. Went back, had a discussion with the tester, came back, had a discussion with you. And at any time, I understand that, you probably told him that, well, let me not assume, you told him what when he said that he couldn't go?
Oh, it was, so hold on, say that one more time, I'm sorry.
What was the conversation? So I'm assuming Mr. Black, which I'm trying not to, but did Mr. Black tell you he couldn't go?
He just said he
couldn't
was, yes,
Okay,
mhm.
okay,
Yes, and he was still drinking water, yes, ma'am.
okay.
Mhm.
And at what time did you, when he said this to you, your reply was what? Was it the full policy of refusal, the policy that he just stated?
Not initially, it was a little while when he told me that he had to get back to his class.
Okay,
And that's when I discussed, the consequences as far as his license
mhm,
and the CDL policy, as far as the refusal and how it would be classified if he was not able to complete the test.
okay. Can you
I
tell?
did not discuss the policy with him.
Okay, okay. So basically, you just kind of referred to his licensing. What will happen to his license if
Yes.
he refused the test?
Right,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Board members, do you have any questions for her?
Question. Did you, Mr. Black, did you ask to come back? Could you come back
Well,
another
we-
time?
Wait,
No, no,
wait
Right.
just a minute, these are just questions for Ms.
Ms.
Coleman.
It's for Ms. Coleman.
Oh, Ms. Coleman,
Go
did
ahead.
he ask you, could he come back at a later time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is that a policy? If he couldn't do it that day, did he have an option had he asked? Were there an option, or was that just the only day you do that?
If he would have asked that, we would have had to refer to Human Resources.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Ms. Coleman,
Mhm.
just for clarification again, so you're alerted, DOT to HR alerts you, you call the drivers, this is what needs to happen.
Yes.
So there's no way for them to, know more than 48 hours in advance. They're gonna know the day of the expectation for them to come in the day of,
Yes, ma'am, and that's for a reason.
which I understand. I just wanna make sure I'm clarifying, wanna make sure I'm understanding the process here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So with that being said, I'm alerted the day of that I need to come in, that I was selected random. I know that I do not have enough sample within my body to give to you at that point. What is the time frame for me to come before you to report for my sample?
So, once he's alerted,
Mhm.
it has to be done that day.
Okay,
And that's why we give them, especially coaches and teachers, we give them an opportunity to go to the test site.
okay,
Now, if a person is absent and their name is on the list, we don't give them any information till the following day that they return,
okay,
and we have them to go to the test site
okay,
or to the test facility.
okay. So hypothetically, if I'm teaching class, first period, second period, and I can tell you, hey, I'm gonna take my lunch or a flex
Mhm.
and come and take care of my business and then move on
Yes.
through my day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my question for you regarding that would be, did we explain that? Do we explain that?
Now, I cannot say that I told him,
That's fair.
but I was giving instructions to the person that was because I was kind of in the mix of testing, to tell him that he could go
Okay.
to the test facility.
Okay.
Now, those were the instructions I was given, but I cannot tell you for certain that.
So can I have a point of clarity with the question? So, Ms. Coleman, so what you're stating is that you did not properly explain that even though he had to do it that day, he was not told that it could be any time during the day.
No, I didn't.
But you were the person that called to
I called
notify?
I called Coach Balon initially. That's how I do the maintenance.
Okay.
If it's someone from maintenance, I call Mr. Washington, you know, and so on. And then after so long, I start following up with one of our personnel that handles with the training department.
Okay, so this is something we do all the time, so it impacts teachers. So if they have to do it in that day, they're gonna have to miss class. So obviously, there has to be some resource to cover until they're back, and it shouldn't be, the test is a 3-hour test, so, you know, it shouldn't be all day. It should be, what, 3.5 hours? 3 hours, 45 minutes
Well, the
travel
3
time?
hours is once you arrive on the test site.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm,
ma'am.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm like travel time and 3 hours there. So I guess I'm saying, would he not know that his class would be covered till he got back? He's saying he needed to
Well,
leave to get to his class.
Once we inform an employee, I'm not his personal supervisor.
That's fair.
His supervisor would be, I would say Dr. St. Louis, and that's just speaking because I don't know
Right.
who he directly reports to. It would be between him and her to communicate on covering his class. Or again, if lunch break or however, but he would have to communicate that he would be off campus, you know, to his supervisor.
Okay, thank you.
So you really don't know anything about class coverage or
No, ma'am.
anything about that?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Any other questions, board? Mr. Beckett?
Yeah, Paul, Dr. Paluski.
Yes, sir, Mr. Beckett.
So, Dr. Paluski, my calendar shows that December the 19th, 2025 was a Friday,
Correct.
and it was probably fairly close to starting the Christmas break.
It was the last day before winter break, and it was the last day of the second marking period, and it was the last day of the semester. For high school on that day, you know, we have final exams, we run a half-day schedule. So on this day, it would have been makeups. I don't have the enrollment on that day, but I verified that it would have been very few students on that campus on that makeup day.
Okay, and then what about coverage for a teacher who's
Sure.
giving a urine sample? What's our practice and procedure for making sure that there's coverage?
Sure.
for teachers?
Sure. So typically how that works, whether it's a urine sample or whether it's an emergency or whether anything, the employee usually contacts the principal and then they'll immediately work on getting coverage for that class. Sometimes we have emergencies that happen in the morning. The employee has to leave, so that class has to get covered through the course of the day. That's a pretty standard operation procedure.
Okay, and so for Mr. Black to, and we haven't heard from him yet,
Sure.
but for him to potentially take the position that, you know, I've got another hour to be here to give a sample, because he's got 3 hours to give a sample, but he left before the 2-hour mark to say he had to get back to class. I mean, is that, would you agree that that's a valid reason, or would he be able to arrange coverage with one of the administrators?
Absolutely. So at any point that he has to say that he has to leave, those classes would be covered. Like on this particular day, there's probably very few students that would be there, so there wouldn't be a need for coverage. However, that would be worked out with the administration to make sure those classes are covered.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir?
The other folks here may have questions of you,
Sure.
maybe not.
Hang on just a minute. Do you have any questions?
No.
For him? Board members, do you?
I just have a quick one. Dr. Paluski, I know you said that it's worked out. Is that something that he has to maybe call and say, I have a class coming up? What's the procedure there? I have a class coming up and I need someone to cover my class. How does that typically work? Or do they just say, okay, he's not back yet, then I know I
Right,
need
so
to
he
get somebody
first
to
has,
cover.
would have to communicate that with his administration, so that's part of our policy. If they have to leave campus for any time, they should be actually signing out for the time that they're out, communicating that with their either assistant principal up through the principal, and then that class will be covered until that individual comes back. Or in some cases where we have emergencies and they don't come back for the remainder of the day, those classes will be covered.
Okay, so do we have the breakdown on, like, where, as far as like that particular policy, that HR policy? Do we have that in here? Like the state, or do we
Which one are
have
you-
anything in place to
which
speak
one?
to if they have to go and do a test, what their policy or procedures are, or is that just something that's expected?
Well, anytime anybody that leaves the building, they should be signing out. Now, as it relates to taking a urine sample, that is a requirement. That's by the Department
Right.
of Transportation, as you know. So that is the priority. They have to leave at that time. As was mentioned, they have to go to that site until the period of time. I mean, this happens all the time in our school district with our random tests.
Right. I guess my specific question is, in the event that he says that I have a class, I got to get back to my class. Do the teachers or the staff have something to say, these are the procedures when you go to take your test and you're supposed to call, or is it just something that's expected of them?
So I believe as part of the training that happens in the beginning of the year, that'd be with Ms.
Okay.
Coleman, of anybody that's in the transportation, they know, I believe they have to sign a handbook as well that clearly states that this is part, random drug testing is a part of daily operation procedures. Your name may be randomly selected. If it is, these are the procedures in which you are to follow, and therefore go to that site, stay at that site until a sample is given, unless one would leave prior to that,
Right. Okay.
and therefore not fulfilling what the policy says.
I get that part, but
Yes, ma'am.
we don't necessarily have anything, and maybe this is more for someone, the HR lady. What is our particular policy? Because I didn't see it in here. What is our policy do we give them anything as it relates to drug testing? I know that they have to take it. They know that they have to take it. And Mr. Alex even explained that he has the 3 hours. But I guess these are your procedures in the event that you know you have a class coming up. You are supposed to call and report back to your building supervisor or your building principal that you're still not done with your test. Number two, you need to do we have anything like that?
So anytime at the school level, that would be part of their process and procedures that they would talk about at the beginning of the year. There's usually some kind of handbook that they would have to sign as well. I believe it's in our employee handbook that also has to be signed by every employee, as well as in the contract. When every contract is signed, at the bottom it says that you are bound by the school district policies and procedures. So usually that's like I said, usually that's a notification to somebody in administration that I can't cover my classes, I need to be out. And if they're going to be out for an extended period of time, there needs to be clear communication with their administrator that, hey, I have an emergency or whatever the case is. This is going to take longer than I anticipated. There needs to be some kind of communication that's back. But in this case, that is the policy as it stated, that there's the period of time in which you have to be on site at the testing center.
Okay.
Just for clarification, you did say that was a half a day?
Yeah, they run a half-day schedule as they do final exams so that teachers can then, grade.
Do you
So
know
there's-
what's a half a day at the high school?
I know the day was a makeup day.
Okay.
And so typically it's a makeup day. Very few students would be on campus, and I verified that.
I have one question on
Yes, ma'am.
running a half-day schedule. Does that mean you run the morning classes on that day, or does that mean? you
Right,
only
so you
run
would
half a
come,
day?
right, that week is, let's say you got an A day, B day. On this particular day, those are your A day final exams that you would take. Then you would go home. The next day would be your B day classes, so to
So
speak.
this not even
But
a
you're
full
open all
day.
day? I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely. It's a,
yeah,
it's a
okay.
contract day for our, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But it's not a full day like for students.
Right.
Gotcha.
So so the students would have finished
They would have taken their exams and
taking
then
their
left.
exams and left
Right.
by, I guess, that's what I was trying to get a time frame
Yeah.
of about when there would be no students in the building.
Right, so on that day, you've got all your pretty much exams that week have been administered, and then anybody that missed that Friday is to
Gotcha.
come in and make up your test that you missed earlier in the week.
So it's not like a classroom
Right.
setting.
So how
Gotcha.
long would the Friday last for the student?
Well,
Yep.
it would be a regular instructional day, but it's a makeup exam, so that student would just come in for that class or a couple classes to make up that exam.
Okay, and classes would go on that Friday until what time?
They would go up until the end of the last period, so the dismissal 4:05.
Any other questions, board members?
No, thank you.
Okay. Other witnesses?
No further, no other witnesses for the administration.
Okay, are you all ready?
Eh,
Call your first witness.
Do you have anybody here that is can speak for you? Okay, we don't have any witness as far as giving account to what has happened, and I think that for the most part, it was the questioning of the tester as to what the policy was or anything like that, and it was also for the bus administrator who came and spoke, and it was the questioning of the time frame.
Okay, so you're not gonna call Mr. Black?
Yes,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I didn't know.
Any other witness? Any other
Right, no
witnesses?
one else.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just have a few questions for Mr. Black here. So you were told that you were, let me turn, you were told that you were going to have a drug test. Do you remember the time that you were called?
I want to say around like 9 or 10. I can't really remember, but I think it was around that time. I was in class though.
Okay, Mr. Black, you're gonna have to get closer.
Yeah,
or
you got
speak up.
scoot
My
your
bad.
chair up.
It was around 9 or 10. I was sitting in class. I can't specify exactly what time because, like they said, it was a makeup test day. And if I'm not mistaken, I had a student in there testing
It's
when
fine,
they called.
but about 9 or 10
Yeah,
o'clock.
about 9 or 10.
Okay. And Ms. Coleman, I believe she stated that it took a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, at any time, did you refuse to take the test?
No.
Okay. And can you state for everybody why you left?
Well, I left because, again, it's testing day, and there's no specific time that kids have to take the test. They just really come in, and if you're not in the class, again, that's kind of on you. And Dr. St. Louis explained that to us, that we have to be in our class.
You're gonna have to speak up.
Dr.
Mr.
St. Louis explained to us that we have to be in our class in case students come in, whether they communicate with you that they're coming or not, you have to be in your class. So I explained to him that, I wanted to be back in case somebody did come test, because again, I was already testing before I went to take. Again, it was random, so that's why it took me a minute to get there in the first place. And then I went there to, take the test because I thought I was going to be back quick, but when he ended up saying I had 3 hours, again, I just didn't want to not be back for somebody to come take their test.
Okay. So when you left to go for the testing, was there a teacher or did you have to go to admin? Explain to us what happened in the midst of them.
I believe I just let Dr. St. Louis know that I had been selected for a random drug test and that I had to go down to transportation to take the test.
So when you left, did someone come to your class or did
No.
you? So did you leave before someone come to your class?
Yeah, I left. Once the students left, I left, and I went straight down there to take the test because, again, I thought it was, going to be a quick interaction and I would be back.
Just for the record, you were called about 9 or 10. I have to ask, did you go to the bathroom before?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I drink a lot of water. I go to the bathroom a lot, and again, it was random. I didn't expect to be called to go take any tests.
Okay. Are you familiar with the policy that the school has? And I know that I'm asking, I know that, I mean, sometimes, you know, we get teachers who don't read the policies. So I'm just asking for the record, were you familiar with the policy that if you refuse, that you could be fired not only as a bus driver, from which I guess this is all transpiring for, but from your teacher position as well?
No, I wasn't aware that I could be fired from my teaching. As he explained, it would be a refusal, and I thought that it would just be fired from driving the bus.
Okay. That's it. I'm good. Thank
Is that all you have?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yeah, so, Mr. Black, just to be clear, you were advised of the rules that if you left without providing an adequate sample, that's considered a refusal.
Yes.
Okay. And you left on your own,
Yes.
and you knew that you had another hour to provide a sample, correct?
Yes.
And you never made any kind of a call to any of the administrators, Dr. St. Louis, or any of the other assistant principals, to arrange coverage for your class because you were at the testing facility.
No,
And you knew you could have done that, correct?
I didn't know that. I just knew I wanted to. I knew she said that if we're not in our class for testers, then, you know, we would get in trouble.
Okay. And then let's go over the policy here. You clearly violated the refusal to submit part of the policy, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you see the consequences for violation section down at the bottom of page 8, where it says that if you violate the policy, the consequences can include termination of your contract of employment.
Again, I thought that was just for my CDL. I didn't think that was for my teaching.
Right, but you were required to get a CDL and drive a bus because you're also a coach, correct?
Right.
Right, so that's the reason why you have a CDL is because you're a teacher and a coach and you drive a school bus to transport your players to games, right?
Right. I didn't think that was tied into teaching because I thought basketball was separate from teaching. So.
Right, but all the coaches, they have
No, they don't.
But most of the coaches have
No,
CDLs.
sir.
Let him ask this
I'm
question,
sorry.
please.
No, sir, they don't.
So you're saying your testimony is that most of the coaches do not have CDLs?
I know a lot of coaches that do not have CDLs.
Okay, have they been with the district a long time?
Longer than me, yes, sir.
Okay, so the younger coaches have been required to get CDLs. Is that correct?
Yes, and there's still some young coaches that do not have their CDL.
Okay, nothing further. Thank you. The board may have questions for you.
Board members, do you all have questions?
Yes, I have a question. You are educated, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I understand in reading this that at any time when you did not take the test and you were trying to get to your class, did you hear the word termination? You would be terminated.
No,
if you did this.
No, ma'am. It would just be counted as a refusal.
Very good. Thank you. 'Cause I'm saying if you're taking responsibility to drive a bus, I'm asking you again. The word terminate, I know the policy that was just read, but the word termination, now, would that have made a difference?
Most likely, yes, ma'am. I probably would have stayed. Again, like I said, I left because I didn't think I would be fired from teaching. I just thought they would take my CDL. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Board members?
So,
Go on. Go on.
you sure?
Yeah, I'll go after you. That's fine.
So you're educated.
Yes, ma'am.
This is your second time before us.
Mm-hmm.
The first time, we told you to take responsibility, learn the policies and procedures, and we told you to do a better job.
Yes, ma'am.
You took a test, did not provide enough of a sample in order for us to do our job, regulated by DOT, which could have put us as a mark against the school district. We have the state on our front porch paying attention to us on all levels. Are you willing for us to be taken over because of your refusal of a test?
No, ma'am.
And you want to throw Dr. St. Louis underneath the bus for being irresponsible? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I don't believe I threw Dr. St. Louis under the bus.
Did you not just say that you did not call your superior, which is Dr. St. Louis? Did I not hear you say that you were told you had to be in the classroom? You failed to communicate with your superior?
Yes, but I don't think that's throwing her on the bus. I'm just saying that I didn't call her to tell her that I would be there longer than I would, and I just know that I wanted to be back in my class, so if a student came to take a test, I still don't believe I threw Dr. St. Louis under the bus, because I wouldn't do that.
So you're failing to take accountability
I
and
take
responsibility.
accountability. Yes, ma'am, I do. I left. I said that I left. I provided 2 samples. I didn't have enough. Again, I wanted to be back because it was testing day and makeup test, so I just wanted to make sure that a student that wanted to make up a test could make up their test. I take full responsibility. Again, I walked out on my own. My reason for walking out was to be back in the classroom in case a student came to take their test.
How many students show up for the makeup test day?
I mean, it varies. I had at least 5 that came and made up tests. Most of them came in the morning, but there also were some that came when I got back that I didn't know was coming. Because again, they don't let you know that they're coming. They just come because they have other classes that they may have to take a makeup test in that they have taken early in the morning or whatever the case may be.
And what class do you teach?
Physical science.
And in what periods?
2nd period and 4th period.
And what time did you report for this test?
It's about 10 o'clock.
So you had, what's 3rd period?
3rd period is my prep.
And when's flex?
Flex is right before prep.
And when's lunch?
Lunch is, there are 3 different lunches, so.
Board members, anyone else?
So when you mentioned, just a few minutes ago, when you mentioned flex and prep, is flex a class or is flex kind of like a period where you could have left to do your testing then? Or can you use prep for that?
I don't think we can use prep on this day because, again, students weren't there. They just come randomly to take their test. So
No, I'm saying as far as you going to take your test, could you use flex and prep for that? Like, could you have left then?
If it was a normal day, yes, ma'am.
I don't think Mr. Black was made aware that he could have went at any time during the day.
Yeah.
He received the call, and he went to take the test. I don't think that it was fully explained to Mr. Black that he could have went at any time during the day to take the urines.
So, okay, run it back to me one more time. You said, who notified you off the top?
I was notified by Ms. Roslin. That was the only person that called me and
Okay.
said that I was.
You were notified, and what did she recall the conversation back? What she said?
You've been selected to take a random test, and you have to get down here
Get down here
to
where?
the transportation.
Okay, and did she say you got to come now? Do you have to come within 2 hours? Do you have an hour? Do you just before the end of the day? What did she say?
I want to say she said within 2 hours, but I know it wasn't.
To be there within 2 hours?
I know it wasn't like you have all day to come,
But did she tell you to be there within 2 hours?
I believe so. I can't recall, but like I said, I know it wasn't something where they said that I could come at any time.
Does flex and prep fall within that 2 hours?
At that time, it would have, but again, it was a day where there were no students, so it wasn't like class periods really.
So you could have used that time for like flex and prep, and then you would have had your lunch, right?
No, I would have had lunch, flex, then prep.
So you could have did lunch, flex, then you prepped.
Originally, at the time that I went was around lunchtime, pretty much.
So then you had flex and prep that fell within that, and then after that would have been typically your class period,
Yes,
correct? Okay, so that's the point that you should have made that phone call, right?
Yes, ma'am.
and it probably would have went to your supervisor, which would have been, or would have been Belon. Who's your immediate supervisor?
Are we talking about for basketball or are we talking about for
Okay,
teaching?
so you would have had, I guess Belon would have been, wait a minute. No, since you were in the classroom, it would have been St. Louis, so you would have fell up under St. Louis, so you should have notified her, right?
Yes.
Okay. So help me understand, walk me through your reasoning for not picking up the phone. Cause I saw it. You know how to use the phone.
Yeah, again.
So walk me through your rationalization for not picking up your phone and just saying, hey, I'm still here testing, especially since Ms. Coleman came to you and said, these are the things that you could be faced with in the event if you leave. And Alex back there documented that he told you this, that is considered a refusal.
Right.
And even with that, why would you want to just say, I'm going to take a refusal against my CDL for 1 or 2 students? Help me understand that.
Again, I put my teaching first that day. That's just literally it. I was trying to be back in case a student wanted to come take a test.
Okay. So even if you had one student that needed to take a test, now just listen to me, like they say, roll with me.
I'm listening.
So if you had one student that just wanted to take a test, is that logically putting that on? I mean, would you rather put this on the line for, not saying that all students are not important, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying to you is, or asking you, is that not something that you think that maybe even if it's one student that could possibly show up, I might need to pick up the phone and call somebody to say I'm still here because I don't want this to be considered a refusal on me, whether it was against driving a bus or whether it was teaching or what have you?
Like I said, I didn't know that this would be connected to my teaching. The bus driver, I didn't get asked to be a bus driver when I signed on to be a teacher. I didn't ask to take a drug test when I got signed on to be a teacher. So I didn't even have my CDLs last year when I went through the whole year as a basketball coach. I just got that this year. So again, no ma'am, I didn't. I just wanted to be back in case of students because I didn't want to get in trouble as a teacher because I just got in trouble as a teacher in the first semester. So I was just trying to put that first.
Okay. I guess why I'm hearing is that you went to one extreme, you left one extreme to go to the other extreme to protect this extreme, right?
That was my mindset. I literally just, I didn't think to call St. Louis and say, hey, I'm going to be down here extra. I didn't. No, ma'am.
Other
Okay, that's
questions?
all I have.
Anyone else?
I do. Just clarity on how testing day works. So I know it's not a regular day, and it's not regular periods, and I know that the students can come. So basically, you're saying they can come whenever they want to.
Like if you, I don't
even
even
if they have you second period,
there you go. I
they
can have a
come
fourth period.
Fourth period.
Yes, ma'am. I can have a fourth period student come early in the morning and take his test, or I can have a second period come in fourth period and take their test. As long as you're there, you're just obligated to give them their test because it's a makeup day. And there are no students in the building unless they're there to take their test. So it wasn't like block schedule. That's why I say when you're saying, could I have gone and take it during flex or lunch? I mean, it wasn't that. Once she called me and I was able to go, I went straight down there. But I knew there was a possibility that were students could be coming back to take a test. So I wanted to be back for those students to take their test. That was my reasoning.
And you did let Dr. St. Louis know where you were going.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means she would know that that's where you were
Mhm.
if you weren't there when a student came.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Other questions?
Can we bring Ms. Coleman back?
Do you all object, either one of you?
Are y'all through with Mr. Black?
I have 2 follow-up questions for Ms. Coleman. So, yes, I'm finished with Mr. Black.
Well, hang on just a minute. Are you finished with Mr. Black?
Yes.
Okay, so do you have anyone else?
No.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Ms. Coleman,
Yes, ma'am.
I understand it's February. I know you've slept since December 19th. But I'm thinking in my mind, because I still have kids in the district, that the 19th was a half a day, and you ran buses early on.
12:30.
Say it again.
12:30.
Okay.
We can't hear you.
The buses ran, we had to be at the high school at 12:30. That week of the 15th through the 19th.
But the students have all day to take tests, right? They
No.
don't? They just have the 12:30?
Yes. Point of clarification, can you answer that? Maybe it's Dr. P. I apologize for putting you on the spot.
That would be Dr. Paluski.
Yes, I'm sorry.
As it relates to the buses?
So if the buses run at 12:30, Friday's a half a day, we tell any teacher, any bus driver, whoever, whatever, however, to go and report to a drug test, then, yeah, I'm trying to, Miss Coleman did it. I'm fine. Angela, do you have a follow-up?
No,
I'm
I was
good.
just, well, hold up. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms.
Transformers. So with that being said, if school is out, I mean, if the buses are not running after 12:30, do they have all day to take tests?
So remember, elementary and middle school's still running, so they're running a special run for the high school
Okay.
at 12:30, and then they're gonna go and repeat that process for middle school and elementary school. So the buses are still running that day. This is just special to pick up high school students at 12:30.
Okay, so say I drive to school and I don't ride the bus. So can I drive to the school, say like at 1:30 and say, let me go take my physical science test?
I would have to seek clarification on what the
Okay.
expectation was that Dr. St. Louis had on that particular day.
Okay.
Now, typically what happens is you come and make up your class if you have a makeup in its first period. Traditionally, if that's your class period's first period, that's when you would show up. But I don't particularly have in front of me what that modified schedule was on that day.
I got you.
Dr. Paluski, do you set the time frame of when grades need to be in, or is that a building administrator?
No, that's set by central office. That's sent by Ms. Hale, and I believe it's 4 o'clock on that day, if I'm not mistaken, on the last day of the marking period.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? You have anything else?
I just want to ask Mr. Black if we don't mind, because, did you have a student to come in later than 12?
Yes, ma'am.
Later than 12:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Later than 12:45?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So after the buses start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Beckett, do you want to question Mr. Black?
No, I don't have any further questions for
Okay.
Mr. Black.
I'll let each of you make a closing statement if you'd like to. You don't have to. And then I need to give some instructions before the board retires.
I'm fine with you just giving instructions. I think this case is very clear.
Okay.
Ms. Gibbons,
Do you all
ready?
want to make one?
Would you like to say something before?
Again, to what you said earlier,
Okay, if you're gonna make one.
to what you said earlier, first of all, I don't want anything bad to happen to the state, to the school district. I've enjoyed my time at North Little Rock. Like I said the first time, like these students mean everything to me. My players mean everything to me. I don't want to be sitting here just as much as y'all don't want to see me sitting here. So please understand that I've never been in trouble this much in my entire life. I can tell you that right now. So this is tough for me. But again, like I love working for North Little Rock, and that's just is what it is. And so that's all I have to say.
And I would like to, or is it just him? Okay.
Do you have something else?
Yes, I would just like to say that after looking over everything here, I think that Mr. Black was under the assumption that driving that bus was optional, that it was just something that he could do to help out the team to help out everything that he was doing outside of just his teaching. And that Mr. Black was trying to be in compliance with everything that he was doing. I do believe that he was put on the spot. He didn't know about the testing and used the restroom before. And as you know, as a teacher, we have a bladder that could go all day without doing anything. So I'm thinking that just given that, he just didn't know.
Is that it? Okay, board members, let me give you some quick instructions. You all are to go into executive session, and while you're back there, you can evaluate the evidence. You should stick to what is in the exhibits that you've been given and what you have heard here tonight in making your decision. That's the parameters of what you should look at to make this decision. While you're back there, you can discuss who was going to make what motion, what you're planning on doing when you get back out here. And then when you come back out, the board president can invite a motion. And you have three options. You can accept the recommendation as the superintendent has made it. You can reject the recommendation, or you can modify the recommendation. And I'm going to give you the three options that you've got there. Are there any questions? Do either of you have anything that you want me to add or
No.
not?
No.
No.
Then you can adjourn to executive session.
We are back in session. Is there a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
I so move that the North Little Rock Board of Directors, we've modified the superintendent's recommendation to not terminate the contract of employment of Anthony Black with the North Little Rock School District, but as follow, we suspend Mr. Black for 30 days, which will include no pay, no stipends, which will include you cannot be on campus. This includes no ball games.
Second. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we modify the North Larks Board of Directors, modify the superintendent's recommendation to terminate the contract and employment of Anthony Black with the North Larks School District as follows. We suspend the employee. Mr. Black will be suspended for 30 days, which will include no pay, no stipends. Mr. Black cannot be on campus for any reason, which includes no ball games. There can be no further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? No, I'm sorry. Roll call, Ms. Rhonda.
Oh, she's
She's right out there. Just a second.
Madam Chair, really quick, can I,
Yes.
was that the full list, or did we have some other items?
We read it.
Practices?
It said, no pay, no stipends, cannot come on campus, no ball games.
And no practice?
Right, cannot be on
Can't-
campus.
Cannot be on
I
campus.
understand.
No practice, no ball games,
But I
no
want it to be
extracurricular
said.
activities, no extra school basketball games, cannot
Can't
be
be
off
on-
campus
on
with the
campus.
basketball
And
team.
no contact with students or teachers.
I'd be careful about no contact with students or teachers,
Okay.
It's just that,
because he might be able to call them, but they might be able, they don't know that, and they're not under that.
Right, I got you.
it's just no campus contact.
Visits, got you.
No
If
visits.
you agree to it, it's a yes.
If you agree, it's yes. If you don't agree to this modification, then it's no. Roll call, Ms. Rhonda.
Dr. Redis?
Yes.
Mrs. McLean?
No.
Mrs. Wampkum?
No.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Temple?
No.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Person West?
Yes.
It's 4 yeses and 3 nos, so it passes. The modification passes.
That will conclude.
That will conclude our hearing. Is there a motion
I
to?
move that we adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.